Kia ora everyone, and welcome to Frogs on Friday. I am Manish Ravikumar, permanent recruitment consultant here at Frog Recruitment, specializing in sales and property. Shannon is off today, so I'm filling in as guest host for today's edition of Frogs on Friday. On today's show, we will have a look at a recent study that revealed the estimated economic impact of AI or artificial intelligence in New Zealand by industries. We will have our hot jobs across Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. Earlier this week, our Frog Recruitment team held our latest talent webinar, taking your career to the next step in Auckland. If you missed out on signing up for it, we have more information about how you can watch on demand and get a sneak peek at a discussion with Scott Bannister about the do's and don'ts of writing your resume and your cover letter in 2023. It's a very important skill to have. It's going to get you in the door. And lastly, we're going to have a look at this week's Twitter polls. Let's get started with this week's Mahi Media. Cool. Earlier this month, Figure.New Zealand compiled a chart taking a look at the estimated economic impact we have been having because of artificial intelligence in New Zealand and what we will have by 2035. On the left, you can see it's broken down by industries. We won't look at all of them here today, but the top industries expected to see a very high impact over the next decade or so are around the financial sector with an estimated 6.4 billion impact, followed closely by manufacturing at 6.3 billion. And construction is at number 3 with 5.8 billion. There's definitely been a huge surge of AI in the workplace, especially in the last couple of years. We, even as consultants, have been using it a lot in the workplace. In a remarkably short span of time, AI has transformed the traditional kind of office landscape. It's been disrupting industries and redefining job roles, definitely enhancing the way we work. In recent months, we have already seen an incredible increase on the reliability of AI in certain sectors like financial. And with this recent estimation, it can only be expected to continue its growth. Let's move along now and take a look at our hot jobs in New Zealand this week. Our first one here is a financial reporting analyst. So it falls under the accounts and finance division. Our first job. It is a 12-month fixed term role, paying 120 to 130K in salary. Pardon. Your main responsibilities will be providing training for financial systems, in particular SAP, FI, and Co, as well as Tableau. Pardon me if I said any of those abbreviations wrong. I'm not very familiar. You will also be producing different reports for key stakeholders. You will need somewhere around 3 to 5 years of experience with using these financial systems, and you will be SAP certified to be a very desirable candidate for this position. If you are interested, please reach out to Shabnil Narayan on the information on the screen. The next one here is the role of a warehouse store person. It is based in Albany, reporting directly to the warehouse manager. You will, in this role, play a very key role in maintaining the warehouse's smooth and efficient operations, very crucial to KidsCan's mission to supply vital products to partner schools and communities in the region. You'll have a track record of success in warehouse operations and management. So if that sounds like you, please reach out to Julia Yen, who is operating this vacancy on the information on the screen. We also have some jobs available for working holiday makers across the ditch in Australia and the UK. Let's jump over to our Sydney office in Australia. We have a 12-month contract for the role of an HR advisor. You will be the first point of contact for matters relating to P&C policies, procedures, agreements, employment conditions, and entitlements, and also award interpretation. You will need to have a tertiary qualification in HR and also prior experience in a HR advisory position. If you are interested in this role, please contact Brooke Mackay. We also have a job opportunity over in the UK. So if this job's for you, get in touch with Brooke on the information below.
Hi, I'm Hannah and I'm currently recruiting for a senior personal assistant or executive assistant to join an incredible, renowned and innovative fashion brand. With a global presence, this brand is seeking a PA to support the Chief Operating Officer. I'm seeking a highly motivated and experienced senior personal assistant to provide comprehensive support to the COO. Your responsibilities will include diary management, arranging and booking travel, preparing meeting agendas and taking minutes, office management when required, and assisting the COO with personal administration as and when needed. The role has a requirement of 3 days per week minimum in the office, and the salary is dependent on experience, but as a guide, the range is between £50,000 and £60,000 per annum. If you're interested and have relevant experience, please drop me a message or send an email to the contact details on the screen. Thank you very much.
That sounds a very interesting role in the UK, and all of them very interesting roles. If you're interested in any of these roles, all of the links to apply and find out a little bit more information about the role are available in the comments now. Earlier this week, our Frog Recruitment team held our latest talent webinar, taking your career to the next step in Auckland. In our 2023 Employment and Salary Trends report, it was revealed that 23% of the workforce is passively looking for their next opportunity in 2023. That's really extraordinary with such a high percentage of people actively looking for a new role. It's now more important than ever to make yourself stand out to potential employers. If you missed out on signing up for it, you can visit frogrecruitment.co.nz/talent webinars to watch it on demand now, as well as sign up for any future talent webinars. There's going to be a lot of very interesting information on there, especially if you're a job seeker, new to the market, or looking to switch it up with your industry. You'll get a lot of information that's going to be useful in your job search on there. We will now take a look at some of that information with our discussion with Scott Bannister about some of the do's and don'ts of writing your resume and cover letter in 2023.
Hi, Sharon. Thanks for having me. Today, we're going to go through some do's and don'ts for writing your CVs and your cover letters. We'll start with resumes, first of all. A couple of points we're going to go through, and then we'll move on to cover letters. So first of all, most importantly, is customize the CV to the job that you're applying for. If you are applying for a role that is a warehouse role, for example, you don't want your CV to reflect that you've been working in like an admin role for the last 5 or 6 years. If you have done the warehouse role previously, highlight that as the main point of the CV. Use a clean and modern formatting for your CV. For me, if the CV's easily editable by myself, if I'm sending it to any clients, and for any potential customers as well, or jobs you're applying for. If it's easy to read, it's a nice clear font, it just puts that CV a little bit further up in the pecking order. Start with a summary about the jobs that you have previously done, and what your career goals are and what you bring to the table for any hiring managers. Most importantly for me is proofread your CV. We don't want any grammatical or spelling errors in there. Also get someone else to have a review of your CV, so that they might highlight some errors in there which you've maybe not seen. Prioritize relevant experience, which I think we've previously gone through anyway. So highlight what you've done, and what the outcome of the work is that you've done in there. List your education and certifications, again, specific to the work that you are applying for. If you've got an accountancy degree and you're applying for an inventory controller role, that's maybe not the right qualification that they'll be looking for that. But if you've used any systems for that role, highlight them. And also add a skills section. Again, very similar to the education sector. If you've used certain systems and processes, highlight them. Some CV don'ts for me: avoiding outdated formats, and please avoid boxes. That's a personal gripe of mine, but we won't get into that. Exclude irrelevant information. So we don't need to know really any unrelated personal details or hobbies. Use a professional's email address. A hiring manager will look at the contact details and the email address. Obviously, you want that to be as professional as possible. If you're getting a email address from when you're 14, maybe you need to look at that and change that to be a bit more professional. And skip personal pronouns. So instead of I, whilst I was working at X client, whilst working at the client, my main roles were. So that's the way we want to do it. With cover letters, we want to be addressing hiring managers wherever possible. So if you know the hiring manager is David Smith, address it to Dear David Smith, to David Smith. If you don't know what the hiring manager is, if you don't know who the hiring manager is, maybe to whom it may concern. Customize the cover letter. So you may be applying for 5 or 6 different roles. What you don't want to be doing is just sending out a generic formatted cover letter. Address it to the hiring manager. Change the formatting of the cover letter so it is job specific. Tell a story about what you've done previously. So share a concise, engaging stories about the qualifications and why you'd be a good fit for the role. Show enthusiasm to the role. So if there is a certain aspect within that role that has made you want to engage in this role and maybe put forward for it, tell them why that is, and then keep it short. You don't want to be doing a 2 or 3 page cover letter, because the hiring manager most likely is going to read the first page. Anything more than that, and they're likely to not sort of go any further. What I would say we need to avoid repetition in your cover letters. We don't want to be having the same paragraph at the top of the cover letter and the bottom of the cover letter. We want to, again, keep it short. Get someone to proofread your cover letter as well as your CV, and stay balanced. Focus on what you are going to bring to the company, not just what you want to get out of the company, if that makes sense. So highlight again why you applied for the role, what you can add to the role, not just I want X, Y, and Z whilst I'm working here. If you are interested in any roles in Auckland, have any questions about what we've discussed today, please don't hesitate to reach out. My details are on the screen at the moment, and obviously Shavnil's and Manish's later on. Cheers, thank you.
The last thing we are going to do today is have a look at our social media polls. The last week we asked, with the continued increase in the cost of living, how inclined, or have you been inclined to work from home at all to save a bit of that money? As expected, with over 500 people voting, over 61% of people said they had started working from home just to save up on parking, save up on commute, fuel, and everything around that. So that's not really surprising to see. Our office offers the possibility for us to work from home once or twice a week, and it's definitely a welcome relief when there's a cost of living crisis going on. Let's have a look at this week's poll. This is for this week's poll. In the last 12 months, has your employer implemented new sustainable practices? Yes, they have, or no, they haven't, or they have kind of made improvements and changes to the current ones. So jump onto our social media channels to have your say and cast your vote today. That's it for this week's New Zealand employment update. Shannon will be back next week to host Frogs on Friday. Have a lovely weekend, and we will see you at the same time next week on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Thank you. Have a lovely weekend.